Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy and I am excited to introduce you to Motion Monster. Motion Monster is a powerful new 2D animation program. It is vector-based with a powerful rigging and tweening system. In this video, I want to show you around and just kind of introduce you to the program. Now when you first launch the program, you'll get this window. This window will show you the recent scenes, and it will also give you the chance to choose between the simple layout and the advanced layout. The simple layout lets you create single layer animations, and you'll get thumbnail images of your frames down at the bottom. The advanced layout lets you get a more detailed overview of your scene, and you can create animations with more than one layer. I'm going to be using the advanced layout. I'll go ahead and hit new project, and I'll show you around the interface. Over on the left, we've got the toolbar, which has the various tools you'll be using as you make your animation. Up on the top are the tool options. These will change depending on what tool you have selected. Down at the bottom is the timeline. This will show you the various keyframes that you have in your animation and let you choose the tweening options between those frames. You will also see keyframes for your camera, your background, any special effects you add to your scene, and the sounds that are in your scene. Right below the canvas are controls for the playback of your scene, adding new frames in various ways, and controls for how we visualize our scenes, such as turning special effects on or off. And finally, over on the right, we've got the Properties panel. This is where we can change the properties for the various things that are in our scene. These will update depending on what we have selected. There's also the Sounds tab, where we can add sounds and add special effects to those sounds. We've got the Effects tab, where we can add special effects to individual figures, to layers, or to the entire scene itself. We have a physics engine built into this program, and so you can enable physics on certain elements of your scene and run the physics engine, and that will automatically take care of some of the movement and let you have some nice realistic physics-based movement there. And then finally, there's a library where we can save things and reuse them for use in future scenes. Now, one thing that's important to know about this program is that basically everything in this program can be rigged. It can be attached together to make animating easier. So when you grab your brush, for example, and you start making strokes, you'll notice that you get this orange dot and this red dot. I'm going to move back to my move tool there. The orange dot is for moving the figure, and the red dot is for rotating the figure. And that becomes very powerful as we build more complex things. Now, if you're wanting to animate frame by frame, you can simply come down here and turn off the dots with this toggle right there, and then you can draw as you'd like without having to worry about those dots being in the way. However, as we're building rigs, those dots will be very powerful and let us build some really nice systems. Now, probably the easiest way for me to explain this rigging system is to be using a stick figure. So every library starts with a stick figure named Stan. I'm going to go ahead and click that and drag it into the scene there, and this is Stan right here. I'm going to go ahead and select those things there, and I'm going to delete those from the scene, and Stan has these dots on him. When he is not selected, most of the dots are blue, but we still have this orange dot. Again, the orange dot is for moving him. The red dots are for rotating the limbs or the various segments on Stan here. And we also have this green dot on whatever segment is selected. The green dot lets us kind of change some curves on whatever we've got. On a stick figure, it may not be very useful, but as we're making other figures and designing things, being able to bend our segments in various ways is actually pretty powerful. Now, when I'm animating, I actually like to use the IK tool. The IK tool is the second tool down. It lets us move multiple segments at one time. It makes it go faster, keeps it from being as tedious there, and so we can move entire chains of segments at one time. We can also, for example, I'm going to select that foot there and toggle anchor on, and do that for both feet there. And now it's going to try and keep those feet in place as I move the body around. And so if I grab the kind of the root of the figure there, those feet try and stay in place. It's going to make it easier for various types of animation depending on what your figure is doing. And so the IK system is really nice and powerful in this program. Now, before we start animating anything, let me show you how you might create a hand-drawn rig. So if you'd like to animate things besides stick figures, you can also create your own drawings and then rig those together to animate those. You could also import images that you've drawn in other programs and rig those together. But right now I'm going to show you guys how you might do that in this program. So let me go over on the side, hit New Clip. And what that does is it gives me a new canvas where everything that I draw on this canvas is going to be grouped together as one thing. And so I'm going to make a very simple drawing here, kind of kindergarten style drawing. I'm just going to make a little face. I'm going to draw a circle here. By the way, I'm using kind of the charcoal texture there. We've got various drawing textures you can use there. And so you can kind of choose ones that you like there. I'm just going to draw a really simple face there. And if you, again, if you don't like the dots, you can turn the dots off as you're drawing and then turn them back on as you are working. I'm going to hit the check mark at the bottom there. And now the entire face that I drew is grouped together as one thing. And so that's ready to go. Let me go ahead and kind of move this off to the side, and then I'm going to hit new clip again. I'm going to make a very simple body for this character. It's just going to be a box. I'm going to grab my brush tool and make kind of a boxy shape there. Now I could grab my fill bucket there and fill that in, but depending on which texture you're using, it doesn't always fill as nicely as you might want. If you're using kind of a very plain brush, a very standard brush, it'll work fine. But we have this blob brush that lets us paint with fills here. I've chosen a green, and I've got paint behind turned on. And so I'm painting with a fill right now, and when I release my brush, this fill will move to the back of my drawings. And so we're going to got there, and then I'm going to let go of that and hit the check mark, and I have got a very, very simple body there. And so now I've got two things that are ready to be rigged up. And I just noticed that there is a bug in the program. This change root button up here should be enabled whenever I click on one of the non-root, a dot that's not orange, but it's not enabling. It'll be fixed in the next version, but it's not right now. So this is where the keyboard shortcuts will come in handy. So I'm going to hold down Control and Alt, or Command and Option if you're on a Mac, and I'm going to change where these roots are. So I'm going to click on the red dot to make that one the root. So now this orange dot is the root of the body there. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the body. I'm going to make the base of the body the orange dot by holding down Control and Alt, or Command and Option if you're on a Mac. And now I want to attach this head to this body. Okay. By the way, this head is really big, so I'm going to right click and drag this down so it's not quite as big. So that's kind of resizing it there. Again, just right clicking. And now I'm going to join figures. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to grab the orange dot and tell it where I want it to join. I want it to join right there. It's going to give me a little warning that if I've got animations already existing, it might kind of change how those work. But since I'm on frame 1, we're going to be totally fine there. And now I've got they're fully joined together, and so I can rotate the body and everything stays together. Now you might notice that the dots aren't quite where I might want them. And so that's where this adjust handles comes in handy. I can click that and change where the handles are on my drawings, and then things will be much more aligned with where I might want to animate things from. Again, this is just a very simple rig just to show you how you might start creating your own rigs, but I wanted you to see that in this video here. Now let's talk about how we actually are going to animate things. Now at the bottom we got this timeline here, and if I want to, for example, have everything, have my stick figure over here on frame 1, and this guy, let me grab the orange dot, this guy over here on frame 1, but then on frame 10 maybe they're going to swap places. So I'm going to hit this plus button right there and add a new frame, and here I'm going to move this guy up and over there, and I'm going to move this guy up and over here. And if I scrub through, you'll see that it's going to automatically tween those frames. And so if I play them, you've got a little animation there. If I click in between those two keyframes, I can change what type of tween I've got there, how it's going to get from one frame to the other. And so I might use a ease out. And let me play that there. And so it's going to kind of slow down as it gets to that end of that animation there. And so for every frame that you've got, if you've got different movements there, let me kind of change where that location is so you can actually see this one. Here I might choose bounce. And so let's go and play this animation. so that at the end there, it bounced into place. So kind of cool. And so that's kind of how the animation system works there. And that's probably a good place for me to stop with this video. I've kind of introduced enough for people to play around with. If you got any questions, please let me know. Drop those in the comments below. I'm really excited for you to try this out, get your hands on it. Again, this is early release, so there's likely to be a few things that need to be tweaked. But I am excited to work on this program and to make it as good as it can be. So please try it out. Let me know what's working. If you have any ideas for things we can improve, let me know. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I hope to see you again.